Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are watching this in the world. I hope you guys are doing okay. And I haven't really posted a gameplay breakdown video in a long time, and it's not really going to be a gameplay breakdown one, but this is a portion of my run to God of Destruction. And I wanted to do this run just because I do criticize this game a lot, but the same way that I look at movies is the same way that I look at games, and I think that you need to do something in order to have your criticisms taken seriously or someone to hear you out. And when people criticize things they've never seen or things they've never done before, it's hard to take them seriously. Now, it's not the first time that I've gotten to a very high rank on a Tekken game, but this is certainly the easiest one. Now, to give you guys a breakdown of my history with this game, just in case you're wondering, I've been playing Tekken since Tekken 1. I got Tekken 2 shortly after Tekken 1 because Tekken 2 was already out when I was very young. I was born in '92 and my dad got me the first game. Quickly moved on to the second and then the third. And so I've been playing this game since the beginning. I've seen every iteration of Tekken. I know how hard it used to be, and not to say it's not hard anymore, but I did not struggle to get to this rank. Now, the game you're watching on the screen is between me and a King player, and I had woken up literally and I thought, you know what, I've got some spare time, let's get God of Destruction today. And it's not something that I'd ever set out to do on Tekken 8 because I'm not a big fan of this game and the changes that they've made. Now, this game is 100% without a shadow of a doubt the Unga Bunga version of Tekken. Not only is it the Unga Bunga version of Tekken, but it is the easiest version of Tekken, and that is a good and bad thing. It's a good thing for those people that have always wanted to play Tekken but have never been able to because of how difficult it's been to get into it, and it's a bad thing for those that want something to work towards and would wish that the skill ceiling was a bit higher. Now, again, like I said, it's not the first time that I've gotten to a high rank. I got to a very high rank on Tekken 5. I remember they had like Tekken Dark Lords and stuff like that, and I don't think I hit Dark Lord, but I think I was very close to it. And then on Tekken Tag 2 the same thing happened, although I can't remember the naming convention. And then in Tekken 7 the highest that I got was a Tekken, I believe it was Tekken God, the one that's just after Emperor. So I've had high ranks throughout my run on Tekken, but I've never reached the highest rank before. And even though they've just introduced the new variations of God of Destruction, and you'll have to forgive my controller, it's a little bit funny, you'll see some dropped combos that are very easy. My Hori fight pad is going a bit funny, but I've never had such an easy time going through ranked when I've actually sat down to play it. Now, everyone that comes to the streams will know that I spend a lot of time playing other games. I don't just play Tekken. I know there's a lot of content creators in this space that only play this game, or there's tournament players that only play this game, but I play Bleach and I play a bunch of other single player games. On top of that, obviously real life gets in the way, and Tekken historically has been one of those games where it feels like a full-time job. It feels like in order for you to get good at the game, you need to spend at least 10 years on it before you can even be considered competent. But that is not the case with Tekken 8. That's not even close to representing what Tekken 8 is. I know people that have picked up Tekken 8 for the first time ever, and they are God of Destruction. And whilst that is still a small number of people, it's a much larger number than what we used to have. And I think that, for me at least, it's not a good thing, because the way I got this rank was really, as you'll see as these matches go on, and just so you guys know, this is only like a 20-minute portion of my 2-hour run. It only took me about 2 hours to get there, of me basically just, you know, playing the game and boiling it down to a few moves. So I started to think to myself, you know, I'm doing too much with Feng Wei, because Feng Wei historically has been a character that is like death by 1,000 cuts. He basically beats you down with like his gigantic moveset, and you don't really know where to block. But Tekken 8 changed a lot of things, and that includes Feng Wei. And whilst I don't think he's the biggest he's the biggest problem in this game, I do think they hurt his playstyle. So I thought, you know what, I'll play this game the way they want me to play it, and I will boil it down to a couple of moves and we'll work with that. And in my mind I was like, okay, cool, people have a hard time blocking his side step 4, and they have a hard time dealing with his down forward 3, which is a safe launcher. So I thought to myself, I'm going to build my entire game plan around those two moves, and we'll see how we get on. And well, as you probably have realized, spoiler alert, it went perfectly fine. And that's not a good thing. It's really not a good thing. And one thing that I've realized playing this game a little bit more recently is that this game has a serious interaction problem. you'll notice in a lot of these games, and I'm sure that you guys know this as well because you play Tekken 8, this game's interaction problem is probably its biggest problem in my opinion. A lot of the time you'll find yourself getting hit by things that you'll be like, wow, that's a launcher? No, really? That's a launcher? When really the situation should have just been reset. And it's not that I'm against launchers, because I play VF as well. And I know VF has launchers, and I know in certain situations it can get real ugly. But VF doesn't have an interaction problem the way that Tekken does. And when I say interaction problem, what I mean is that the amount of turns that you have on this game are very minuscule. They're very, very minuscule, especially compared to other Tekken games and compared to other fighting games. And that's where, for me, this game kind of loses itself. I don't have a massive problem with the damage in this game, because damage has always been high in Tekken. I have a problem with how long I spend in the air, how long I spend suspended from the ground, and how many moves just combo into each other, and then you find yourself having to deal with heat, and it's just pressure, pressure, pressure. And I realized that there's not a lot of people using Feng Wei online, which works to my advantage because people start to forget the matchup knowledge. And as you'll see in this video and on the members area where I upload all of my ranked gameplay, I don't run into any Feng Weis. As a matter of fact, I think by the time this recording comes out, or maybe just after, when I get all of the gameplay on there's going to be about maybe, I don't know, 6 hours worth of gameplay. Not a single Feng Wei did I run into, if I'm remembering it correctly. For me, that works to my benefit, because that just tells me people are not learning this character anymore. People are going to forget how to fight against him. That's perfect. That's exactly what I am looking for. And so that was one thing that made it very easy for me. The other thing that made it very easy is that I noticed that the player base itself has gotten much, much weaker. Tekken was a game that was sort of gate-kept behind its difficulty. It was never really difficult when it came to inputs. Like, it's not difficult like King of Fighters where you're struggling to even do an input. It was difficult because of how many things you had to learn and how many characters had those different attributes and how many systems there are in the game. But in this game, because of the simplicity of the heat mechanic, and I know a lot of people thought that it was a very nuanced and difficult mechanic when the game came out, but it's really not. It's a very simple, very basic mechanic that turns your character into a Super Saiyan. And it kind of boils the match down into that. When you've got heat activated, you do a couple of silly moves that can result in half health damage, and usually you find yourself at the wall. And I remember playing a Xiaoyu player, they might be on screen right now, and they were just going for this launcher, like this launcher over and over again. I don't know if it's the right match that I put into the footage, because I was trying to boil it down so it's not 3 hours long. But they were just going for launcher after launcher after launcher, because it was relatively low risk and the reward was extremely high. Another thing that they've done in this game that I really, really don't like is they have made everybody have the same level of wall carry that Nina and Lee used to have back in the day, and I guess Lars as well. Lars, Nii and Nina, did I say Nii? Lars, Nina, and I've forgotten the other character now, Lee. They were known for having good wall carry, and I don't think anybody really cared about that because those were the characters that wall carried you. But now everybody wall carries you. Like, I played this Law player a number of times during my run to God of Destruction, and my god, like, we were on the seaside stage and I was getting carried from one side of the stage to the other, and that's not a small stage. It was really frustrating because you're just sitting there watching your character spin over and over again. So for me, one of the things that I want Tekken to get away from is to be this non-interaction simulator where you're just watching things instead of playing. And I was doing it to my opponents a lot as well. My opponents were being forced to watch the same situation play out over and over again, or forced to block. And I was using the heat mechanic to back turn and then use my either 2 attack or low. And either one was going to turn into a launcher, and if they block the back turn 2, then it's still my turn. It's still my turn to put some pressure on you. And the thing is that I have to be honest with everyone. I have never been in this game for training mode. I've never used the replay feature to lab moves. I've never labbed how to fight other characters, and I never labbed how to use Feng Wei. I just took the knowledge that I have from Feng Wei, playing him from 5, 6, 7, tag 2, and now obviously 8. I saw some combos on YouTube and I just copied them. I never did that in training mode. I just went on ranked and started doing that. And to me, that's a big problem. I don't think Tekken should be a game where it's like, okay, I can just jump around and get wins. And that's essentially what's happened. Now, I'm not discounting the fact that I have a lot of legacy knowledge on this game, but it does go to show you that they have really really lowered the skill ceiling. And I can sit here and say that now. I know a lot of people have said, well, Mike, you've never hit God of Destruction. And to be completely honest with you guys, and this is no cap, it's because I couldn't be bothered. There were other things for me to do. I don't tend to play games that I find unfun. And I'm not saying that I find this game completely unfun. That would be a lie. It's not completely unfun, but it is not satisfactory. It's not living up to the levels that I wanted for Tekken. I apologize if you can hear my dog in the background. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to put this up for people to listen to me rant. It's not what I want from Tekken. And the thing is, guys, is that I can be completely honest with you. Now that I'm actually sitting here, and it's not that I'm learning the game, but I'm trying to not play recklessly. Like, I'm not the best Feng Wei player in Europe by no stretch of the imagination. But I know enough about the character to get around on ranked. And when I went on to ranked, I was like, okay, Mike, don't do the same stupid shit that you do when you're playing lobbies of the community. Try and slow down your gameplay a bit. Try and read your opponents a little bit more. Use some different attacks. Change up your timings. And I promise you guys, I believe that I can hit God 1 and God 2. I don't know what the ranks are beyond that, but just playing some of these players, and I don't know if I put it in this footage, but I ran into God 1 ranked players, and I didn't run into any God 2s, but I've played Blackheart before and I beat his ass. So, and obviously Blackheart is like 10 times better than me, but still, the fact that I can even get a win on somebody like Blackheart, who has every single character to God of Destruction and some of them to God of Destruction 1 and 2, is absurd. With a player of that skill on like Tekken Tag 2 or even Tekken 7, that wouldn't happen. And that just goes to show you what direction this game has gone in. And I'm famous on this game for not blocking. Like, obviously I block every now and then. I block enough to survive. But my defense is notoriously low. For a long time it was on like 54. I think it's sitting at like 62 now, which is still very low. And obviously my other stats are very high because I'm very aggressive. But by nature, I'm actually a defensive player. If you watch me play Street Fighter 4, if you watch me play Third Strike, if you watch me play Rebirth of Souls, if you watch me play Demon Slayer, I'm a very defensive player. I stand away from my opponents. I try to space them or zone them out. Even play like that on Mortal Kombat if I'm using a character like Noob Saibot, for example. But on this game, I don't feel like I can defend properly, and I feel like that is because I can't undo the legacy knowledge of defense that I learned. And I do appreciate that they made changes to the sidestep system that makes it a bit easier for us to move around things. I do appreciate that 100%. That was a step in the right direction for them to let us buffer from crouch and all that stuff. But I still don't feel like I can defend properly in this game. The other thing that maybe is putting me off this game is that I've been playing Feng Wei since Tekken 5 consistently, and every single Tekken game I played Feng Wei ever since he came out in Tekken 5, and I think I'm a little bit tired of using him, and I really want to use somebody else. And I was hoping that Marduk was going to get announced, because I know people hate Marduk and they're completely justified in hating him, but he's so much fun. He is so much fun to use. So I would really like for them to bring him back, or I don't know, bring back someone that I really want to play. To be fair though, I did say I'd play Fahkumram, and I haven't gotten around to using him. And now that I've gotten to God of Destruction with Feng, I feel like maybe it's time that I sat and learned him, because I've kind of done what I wanted to do with Feng. Maybe I should sit and learn Fahkumram and get him to God of Destruction. How cool would it be to have 2 characters to God of Destruction? The haters really couldn't chat shit at that point. And the thing is, whenever people would say that stuff to me, I'd always be like, this is so silly. Like, do I really need to prove this point to people? Because I get it a lot. You criticize this game, Mike, you're not even GOD. Now, I always said to them, but I can get there if I want to. And they're like, no you can't. And now that I have, I guess they can't say anything. And again, this is with me taking time off from the game, me just messing around in lobbies with the community. I'm not locked into Tekken the way I used to be. I was a much stronger player back in the day when Tekken for me was at its peak. Now, I don't think that this game can necessarily be saved, but I do think that the franchise will return to its roots, because I don't think this game is going to reach the heights of Tekken 7. And I think that Bandai Namco will probably look at that, and we will probably get a Tekken game that sits somewhere in the middle of 7 and 8 in terms of difficulty and in terms of ease of use for players. And what they could do, instead of like dumbing the whole game down, is just give people dumb characters. Like, not characters that are game breaking, but super easy characters like Victor or Asuzena, who are very easy to pilot, don't require any execution. I don't think you should dumb the whole game down as a whole. I mean, Mishima's getting perfect electrics or just electrics in their heat is stupid. That shouldn't be a thing. Feng Wei getting his 3+4, and it just turns into a situation where you're forced to guess what he does next. That shit is dumb. I don't think that stuff should be in the game. It neuters the experience of Tekken, and all it's done is open the floodgates, and I mean this respectfully. I really don't mean any offense by this, but it has allowed people that had no business getting to these ranks, myself included. I put myself in there. I've always gotten to a higher rank on Tekken. I've never been able to get to the highest rank, and now that I've gotten God of Destruction, I can sit here and tell you that this game just allows too many people that are not that competent at Tekken to do stupid shit and get away with it. And I don't know if you're looking at the Devil Jin match on the screen right now, but this Devil Jin play was pretty good. But I was playing Tekken 8 the way it wanted me to play it, which was in the most dumb way possible. And you got to think a little bit to do that level of stupidness. Like, I had to stop and be like, okay, Mike, you know, this game is meant to be played in an idiotic manner. Let's do the bare minimum. And there was a point where I timed him out as well, and I was like, I'm just going to get under people's skin, because that's how Harada wants people to play this game. That's how Murray and Nakatsu want people to play this game. And I guess for me, this God of Destruction run is bittersweet, because I always would tell people that Tekken was the hardest fighting game and one of the hardest games on the planet. And now I don't know if I can say that anymore. And for me, at least, I think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a good thing. So overall, I hope that Tekken returns to its roots of being one of the most, if not the most difficult competitive fighting game on the planet. I am probably going to get another character to God of Destruction just to further prove the point. I think I could probably get Fakaram and Paul Phoenix to God of Destruction, and now that I've gotten one character, I don't feel the need to play him constantly anymore. So that's my take on Tekken 8 as it stands. I don't think it's going to reach the heights of Tekken 7. I do think things will get reverted, and hopefully Season 3 is better than Season 2. Anyways guys, I'll catch you very soon. Take care and peace.
So